Hey, good morning, folks. Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here with the MLive morning weather update. And I'm going to start to show you that we're going to start to evolve into a more moisture-laden pattern. The storms are going to start to come out of the west. It's going to take a week or two for the whole storm cycle to get going, but we're starting to watch our what I would call our first winter storm that's coming in from the southwest and moisture-laden. That's about Friday. It's a glancing blow and a weakening storm system, so I'll show that to you. I don't think it's a mega snowstorm, but it certainly has the look of something that causes some slick roads. And prior to that, we're talking about an Alberta clipper. So let's first give you the big picture of how the weather pattern is going to evolve. It's going to be, I'm going to write a post on it later on MLive. You get the news here first. It's going to be a weather roller coaster because as these storms approach, we warm up ahead of them and then turn colder behind them. So here is our favored European model in the ensemble mode, and it gives you a real good feel for what we have coming, and I would call it a fairly stormy pattern starting to evolve. So here's our Alberta clipper for today. A much closer look at that in a moment here. It's accumulating snow for northeast, lower Michigan, and the UP. Not a lot for elsewhere, not a lot for those of us in Ann Arbor and Detroit and Grand Rapids, Flint, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, whatnot. So Wednesday looks fairly dry. Thursday, this is Thursday. Thursday looks like a good day to travel if you're going to be doing that. And then you see the storm developing in the south. Coming up through Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. That's always the type of storm I tell you to watch because it has the moisture to work with. Hey, good morning, John McBroom. You're welcome. And Iris Salters, good morning to you. And Carrie Gullett, or I guess, is watching. Good morning to you. So this would be Friday afternoon. You can see that little snow on the northern fringes of the storm system. It's not a big, robust, curled up, cranked up low pressure center. It's kind of just sneaking out and diminishing as it goes, and then we go to Friday evening and it slides off. So right now it's looking like a midday Friday type snow for maybe south of I-94 or I-94 southward. And slides off. The weekend, Saturday looks good. If you're ice fishing, finally a light wind maybe on a Saturday. Then here's Sunday. And note as we go into the first week of February, we get some northerly winds, and then we get some full-fledged storm systems coming off of the Pacific. This is about the 7th of February, and that would be a moisture-laden storm system. Another one hitting the West Coast. Good news for California because they're going to start to get into a rain pattern, and that shows up at our neck of the woods, and this is February 11th. So you can start to see the trend of how things are going. All right, so now back to reality, back to out of the long distance and into today. It's an Alberta clipper, and this is noon. So across the UP, Pamela Todorov. More precipitation, but aren't we entering the coldest part of the season? So it's snow, question mark. More precipitation, yes, because it's a west-southwest flow. We are right now actually in the heart of the coldest part of the season into the first week of February. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's snow because as the storms come out of the southwest, they can bring milder air with them. So this is this afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3, 4, 5. So basically, this Alberta clipper snow comes as far south as Saginaw and the Thumb for an hour or two and lifts off. The most snow will fall, the most hours of snow will fall in the northeast quarter of the state, Mayo, Oscoda, Alpena, Hillman, and into the UP. And then as that moves off, we get a punch of colder air for tomorrow, and that makes some some lake effect snow. This is tomorrow morning. Nothing that really looks very widespread except for the classic true snow belt area of Northwest Lower and the UP. So how much snowfall? This is through the Alberta Clipper this afternoon and this evening. And you could see Bay City, Big Rapids southward, nothing. So nothing in Grand Rapids, nothing in Ann Arbor, nothing in Detroit, nothing in Flint, Lansing, Kalamazoo. And we'll call it 2 to 4 inches as you get north of Traverse City, heading toward the Mackinac Bridge and into the UP. And then, of course, the lake effect comes down tomorrow, and the UP gets pretty well hammered, 10 inches or so, eastern half, and parts of Northwest Lower maybe get 6 inches. But again, southern part of the state stays dry. All right, so a little closer look at Friday. Here's Friday morning, and it could be rain. I also have the watch out that it could be freezing rain in a thin strip because the northeast wind is going to kick in. That will undercut the precipitation with colder air during the day on Friday. There's your snow band. Friday, 1 p.m. in the afternoon. That's 7 p.m. at night and then off. So it could be a snowy Friday afternoon in the southern part of the state. And like I said, Saturday looks like the winds die down, pretty calm. Hey, good morning, Annie Garepi and Whitmore Lake and Melissa Van Campen. Thanks for watching. Brian Roberts, good morning. And Jason Luca. Hopefully I said that right. All right, temperature roller coaster. So 30s today, cracking the freezing mark. That'll be nice. Back down a little bit tomorrow on the northwesterly wind. Back up on Thursday. This would be one way to avoid freezing rain, is if we could get up into the 40s on Thursday, which we should. Maybe it warms the pavement. Here's Friday's high temperatures, and that can be deceiving because that could be a morning high temperature and then falling temperatures in the afternoon. So it just has the general signs of something that brings wintry weather to the southern third of lower Michigan. Saturday, a little bit colder. Then Sunday, back to near 40. And then Monday, a little bit colder. And it doesn't look like we are done with quote-unquote Arctic air. I do feel like we've had our coldest of the season, but I still feel like that in the first couple of weeks of February, we've got a pretty cold Arctic shot on the way. This is February 5th, back up on the 6th, back higher on the 7th. So don't take these temperatures as verbatim, but take the idea of up and down, a couple of days warm up, a couple of days turning colder. And here's how we show this. Remember, we show this in the long term to you, not by what we call the deterministic mode of a model that we like. That's the single run that's most often used. But that run can catch on to a wrong idea, and as it goes out 10 and 15 days, it can be quite wrong. So we like, in the long term for trends, we like the ensemble of that model, where they tweak it 51 times, they run it, and they average it. So as you get out toward the end, if you see a kind of a definitive cold blast developing or warm blast, you kind of start to believe it, but you want to see it move in closer in time. And so what I want you to note out of this is that the storm track turns stormier with more moisture. We need that. I'm also going to write today about how deep of a drought we are in. Even though you think we've had snow, that does not really help the drought. It's really a moisture-starved type snow that's on the ground in a lot of places. And then I think you'll also get that fact that we'll be up and down on temperatures. So this is that ensemble mode of the European model that we like, and this is the upper airflow. These are the steering currents. So when you see the red, that means the atmosphere aloft is warmer, and it usually translates to a warm up at the surface. There's our little wave on Friday, and note how it's strong and closed down in the southwest part of the country now. needed rainfall, and it opens up and weakens as it slides onto the east by the weekend. And then we start to continue to see the pattern evolve. February 4th, and something like that, if it verifies, we could have the 40s. We could have a 50-degree reading. Hey, Ron Mosley, big 16 for the grandson today. When could we expect to see the ensemble mode for late February, early March? 15 days out. So late February, you're looking at, we need to be to February 14th before we start seeing anything that we would start to even trust. And so now we're at February 8th, and that's an interesting scenario right there. That's a winter storm. That's a full-blown winter storm, and I believe it, that as the cold air comes in, it could happen. And as we go out 16 days, note that the polar vortex is not giving up. So we still have probably quite a very wintry February on the way. These are the surface temperatures, and this will give you the roller coaster temperature idea. There we get into Thursday, and we're above normal by 10 degrees, warmer than normal. Then we ooze back down as we head into the weekend. Then another warm blob, and as we get into early February, the colder air settles in. Nothing that is extremely cold compared to normal. February 7th, February 9th, and you'll see as we get out into mid-February, everything kind of wants to lean toward maybe becoming somewhat colder than normal for a couple of weeks. So that's my story on that I think winter is definitely not done. We got some winter storms. What is a winter storm in Michigan in February? It has a rain band, maybe south of Michigan, maybe in the southern part of Michigan. It has a freezing rain and sleet band, and then it has a heavy snow band. So we'll have all of the winter fun and the mess coming up in February. We need it, because those are the kind of storms that actually bring half-inch to inch of moisture, whether it's snow, freezing rain, sleet, or rain. We need that for the drought situations going on, which is severe in about half of lower Michigan and moderate in the other half. So there you go. Right now today, you got the travel problems heading northeast into northeast lower Michigan and the UP. Very wintry scenario there. Southern 2/3 of lower Michigan, no problems whatsoever. And the next storm system that we watch is Friday, and that's looking like a snow and or freezing rain or sleet for the southern part of Michigan. I'll start to cover that one closely now that we're going to get more details on that. Hey, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa from MLive. Thank you for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.